Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to the SOR round 11 here at the Hockenheim Ring. Sorry for all that wait. We had a lot of technical issues. We had to restart lobby, and we waited on a car. One sec. Just give me one sec. Right, okay, here we are at the German Grand Prix. It's always a pretty good track. So we're gonna go on board with the previous driver of the day, Ruthful. He's currently leading the championship by how much I don't know. But we'll have to see exactly what he manages to do as he gets in front of the Red Bull there of Luca. Right, so on the soft compound tires actually, so he's opted to go for the quick set. Right, so coming across the final corner, you need to get a good exit, which he does. Here, heading into this corner, it's very difficult to get it right and very easy to exceed track limits, but there he does it perfectly. Heading into turns 2 and 3, he didn't go deep there, as we see many drivers do, but he does cost his exit a tiny bit by going from the inside. He might be able to get a low slipstream from the people up ahead, further down, because he is on these soft tires and these guys are on their hards. This corner also want to go wide and in. He took full in. GC Fungus there might give him a bit of a slipstream and actually might block him a tiny bit. Don't know if he is on the lap, but GC Fungus is getting out the way now. As Pixel goes wide here, you want to go a nice, really left and right. Really goes wide there. That will not be an invalidate lap actually, believe it or not. Heading through the old Mercedes standings, crowd area, whatever you want to call it. The final two corners very easy to get it wrong. Actually, he does put it back in the pits, so I'd say he did get an invalidation there. But we will go with Pixel, who finished a lap, but because he went wide, it was invalidated. It goes wide there, almost into the wall, but it doesn't invalidate his lap, from what I can tell. There's a Mercedes right behind him of GC Fungus. While leaving the session there, he will reconnect. David actually retiring in the pits, so don't know what that's all about. But you won't be able to set a lap, so you will start furthest on the grid if no one else sets up. As GC Fungus there goes really wide. I don't know if that's an invalidation. Doesn't say, but we'll have to see. Maybe if I did this. Turned up, yes it is. Okay, so on the mini map it works more than if I put it on the full track map, apparently. So set another one. Actually takes that corner really nicely there, getting out of turn 1. We might actually want to move on to, where is he? Ruthful, who is on his out lap. Oh, he's on an outlap. Whoops. So we'll go back to GC Fungus, and then we'll go back to Ruthful once he is on his lap. Ooh, he locks up there. We'll put him deep. through the final corner now. Actually, it's a pretty decent exit. What time will it be? It will be a 1 minute 13.5. He is on the hard compound tires. Do keep that in mind. Cosman actually retires, so he will slot in either in front or behind David. Let me turn on my light 1 sec. Right, lights turned on, ready to go. So we'll go actually on a lap with Ruthful. You see him teleporting a bit behind. I don't know if that will cost him. He's setting a purple first sector. Seems to be pretty decent time being. Pandacoy and Vitor Rosso getting out of the way. Pandacoy actually didn't really get the best results last race. We'll have to see if he manages to set a better one this time around. Sits another purple second sector. There's actually Pixel in front of him, who will remain in front of him, so Dirty Air will come into play here in the last final corners. And he puts it into the pits again. It doesn't seem to be validated, so it's just Ozone maybe getting a feel of all of his tires or something before the main lap. So Pixel will want to set a lap ASAP on these hards. He's actually already invalidated it. Will he be able to set a lap on the hard compound tires? Find out next time. So we'll move on to someone who might actually be on the lap there. We see Ingenio, who's actually on the lap. So then he's already 2 tenths quicker there, sliding all over the place. I'd say those 2 tenths will go down a bit more. So this track is very demanding when it comes to tire grip as well. It's not the nicest on your tires, but it's not the use on your tires either. As he sets a purple second sector, he's actually 4 tenths up, meaning that he is taking provisional pole position as things stand. He's using the back end there completely. Ooh, cuts that corner. There's no invalidation of DS as he retires on the hard compound tires. And completely out of ERS, he sets a new fastest lap, not by much, by 5 thousandths of a second. So we'll go on to, actually Ruthful decides to go on to the medium compound tires. We'll see him come out as soon as possible, I'd say. So R10 will want to reclaim his pole position now. He's looking like the favorite for the time being as he sends one there that will give him a lot of time. I'd say R10, he should be able to reclaim his pole position because he's a few thousandths of a second behind Ingenio on 1 lap, and Ingenio, that was the 2nd lap. So R10 definitely the favorite here, but it takes one mistake and that's your qualifying done. So I'd say on this strat you'd want to go softs to hards, or softs and mediums if you're feeling brave enough. So he's 3 tenths up on his time. Actually, he goes a little wide there and doesn't use as much track. Ooh, and he's done a Sebastian Vettel. He's pulled off what Sebastian Vettel did back in 2018, but in the McLaren. So wow on a lap will stick with him for the time being. Okay. Doesn't see that he's on a lap. I think he must have invalidated it or something because he was just on a non-fuel mix there on the straight. He's on medium, so he doesn't seem to be pushing it that much. Oh, as we see, wow, spin there. Let's say another fair share of spins. Almost hard as well, so. Ooh, he actually goes in front of Futuristic there, really closely. Futuristic on 6 laps on these hard combat tires, showing the same amount of laps as GC Fungus's. Actually, GC Fungus on this is 7th lap, it's a 1 minute 13.1. We'll have to see what Futuristic manages to do here, going into the final 2 corner, mounting that curb, and it sends one into the pits. 6 minutes left on this session. Ruthful will come out, I'd say, last second. Actually, Ruthful's left the session. I'd say that must be a DC or something. Pixel's retired from the session, not saying a lap. So we'll head on to Future. Or not Future, sorry. The Inaudible Gamer who actually invalidates it lap, or turn 1. Turn 1's very tricky to get right, especially in qualifying, because you want to use as much of the track to gain as much time as possible. But during the race, you can really cheese it, not cut it, but you can afford to go a bit wide here now and then. So GC Fungus is on his in lap, but someone who is on his out lap is Ingenio, and he's crossing the start finish straight now, heading into turn 1. Will he invalidate it? Yes, he will. Right, so we'll go on to someone else. Let's go on the Inaudible Gamer, who will be starting his lap, I'd say. And he's put it into the bits. So, is anyone going to come out? Maple is on a lap, saying a purple second sector on the medium. Going into the Mercedes Grand Sands. That's the name I was looking for before. Well, I don't know why I sounded so American there. But heading through the final quarter now. It seems to be a relatively good time on the mediums. Will be pole position, but it will be enough to put him actually in 7th place. So looks like all the medium runners are pretty close to each other. All within 5/10 of each other. So Maple, well, that's his only set of mediums, so unless if he wants to set another lap right after, which is a possibility. Yes, we're going out there. And Ruthful is still in the pits. I don't know what that will mean for him, but we'll have to find out as Cosman's about to set up. Will he invalidate turn 1? Oh, but he puts it in the wall, and that's him out of qualifying. Very unfortunate stuff from him as the lady in the back there applauds. Very unfortunate there for Cosman. Turn 1 can be a pretty lethal one if you get it wrong. Oh, the session I'm trying to spectate is no longer available. That's always nice. I'll try and reconnect. Just give me a quick second. Sorry. So let me quickly join back. Okay, it seems like my game is completely toast, so I'll restart. Sorry, everyone. We're back in Formula One. There's 30 seconds left of the session, so I'll come in just for the end. And we're back, and the session you're trying to spectate is no longer available. Right, so it seems as if I can't join. And we're back in, so hopefully we can actually have a race if Formula 1 decides to not be a big, bad Formula 1 game. It is. If there's a crash, I'd say the race will be cancelled or postponed. Even races virtually are affecting us. Right, so I have no clue who's starting where, so this is going to be a big surprise for me. Okay, so this is the starting lineup, I guess. Right, so in pole position we have R10 on the soft compound tires. In second place we have Ingenio on the soft compound tires. And then we have Ruthful on the mediums, Wow on the mediums, Yesin on the mediums, The Inaudible Game on the mediums, Maple on the mediums, Luca on the mediums, Futuristic on the mediums, R3 on the mediums, JC Fungus on the mediums, DS on the mediums, Vessel on the mediums, Fox on the hard compound tires, Pandakoi on the medium compound tire, Polar Haze on the hards, David on the meds, Pixel as well, Almighty on the hard compound, and Cosmin in last with the I can't speak, mediums. So these are all fresh tires to keep in mind, because this is a new lobby, so fresh tires for everyone. Meaning that these soft runners will have a pretty big advantage for a much longer time period than if they were already worn out. Which won't be good for the likes of Ruthful and WoW, who will want to get a move on as soon as possible. Because this is like nothing just happened. These are brand new softs. I'd say those softs will take them to at least lap 14, maybe 10, like 10 to 14. And the mediums, maybe I could see him doing a one stop, maybe onto the softs. You know, going from mediums to soft, boxing lap 25-ish. I could see that happen. Right, so as we line up to finally start this German Grand Prix, as we wait here, right, so we have 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Luca gets actually a drive-through penalty, and R10 gets a good start as they'll go 3 wide there on the back. It's a turn 1 that's never going to work out. We have Yasin there who gets pushed off wide, and there's been a spin towards the back, and that's David who's spun in at the back end of the pack. Going back to the front, seems everything is stable enough. There's actually Pixel there who's lost it towards the back of the grid. Moving down the order, we already got move on Luca. The Inaudible Gamer might be able to gain 2 positions in one here. Heading in, he gets cut out, he gets squeezed off into the grass. It will go wide, he loses the back end there a tiny bit. And that's him down into P7. It's pretty interesting start there, actually, as Luca and WoW there go side by side there. Luca giving him no room whatsoever, and they're still side by side. He cuts that corner completely. I'd say Luca will want to maybe use a drive-through as soon as possible. They're still side by side here, and they'll keep going side by side into the Mercedes corner. Actually sends one, wow, and he's pushed into the gravel, and that's him. His chances. Oh, and there's been a bigger spin there. Ah, there is the chaos here on lap 1. It seemed to be going all right once lights went out, and then that's about it. Luca is serving his drives the penalty already. The Inaudible Gamer will get a warning for doing what he just did. Yes, and under some pressure, but heading up to the front of the field here, the 2 self-runners are already gaining some time on these 2 self-runners. Actually, as Ingenio and R10 will run side by side, heading into turn 4, 5. Ooh, they touch wheels there a tiny bit. Oh, and that's R10 out of this race. He loses the back end and sends one into Ingenio. Luckily, Ruthful did not collect whoever that was who just spun, because that would have been game over for Ruthful. Now the 2 racing points up into first and second place. Very competitive start here, I should definitely say. And we have actually R10 there, who's the person who spun, has put himself into P18 because of that. And I'd say his rears are more than warm as we see him sliding all over the place. Don't even want to cool his tires, and that's actually Pandakoi, who's sent one wide as well. It's crazy, so I'm surprised there's been no safety cars or VSCs, and actually Cosmin once again who collects another driver. Oh, and that's his teammate Luca who already runs into Cosmin, and actually that's WoW who got collected at the same time, and there goes the safety car. Oh no, Cosmin once again losing the back end, and the session is unable to... Right, so I guess they'll let us cool down a tiny bit. So we saw Cosmin losing the back end once again. Wow, ramming into the back of Cosmin, that's sending him into the wall. Codemasters is a pretty good game, not going to lie. I need to restart my game again. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't control this, so, you know, can't really do much about it. But, if it happens one more time, I will stop the stream because it just puts us out of the flow. Here we are, loading back in. If I'm not able to... Oh, I just readied up. Hopefully it puts me into spectator. Yes, it's put me into spectator. So I'm able to join R10 using the back end there, heading into the pits. Right. So it's still a safety car. Didn't miss much. Almighty, the Cosman's retired from this race. 1 second, guys. I need to fix something. Right, and we're back. I didn't see if safety car is in this lap, but I'd say it isn't. Or it might be last second, you never know, we caught up. And no, there'll be another lap of safety cars. Right, so hopefully I don't get kicked again. If I do, as I said, I will just end the stream as leaving and exiting, not just for you guys, but for me as well, is tiring and annoying. It also ruins the flow, because I was very much into it, and then I was angry because I got kicked, and now I'm back, and yeah. Safety car conditions not really the most exciting of stuff, except for if it was a real race. In that case, it'd be much different. So with all these real life races cancelled and postponed, it really makes us think, when will the Formula 1 2020 season will go underway. Actually, as a safety car is coming in this lap as Ruth will backs up the field. To see that. Ooh, it's actually lagging there. I'm listening to Yasin. So he'll want to. What's exactly going on? But Yasin very much on his tail. And Yasin does not get a better run, but heading into turn 1, we'll have to see if any incidents do occur. Seems like everyone is single filing into turn 1, which is what you want to see. Ooh, it's actually a car going very wide there. I didn't catch exactly which car it was. So we see Panico going for a move there on Luca, getting the move done. But the switchback of dreams from Luca, he will get a much better run. Sorry. Still using that slipstream. Will he go for a big boy send heading in to turn 5? Yes, he will. And he gets the move done, the Red Bull of Luca. It seems to be a very different field from when we started. Mainly because safety car. Or even spins. And it's actually DS going for a move there on Almighty, who gets no, I was gonna make a joke, but it's not funny. Who gets pushed back there, and actually that's Polar Haze, who's spun and has been sent to the back of the grid. Very unfortunate stuff from him. Seems like no one's in contention from really getting moved. So everyone on the medium compound, I'd say Almighty, Will, and Fox will go to the end on those hards. So just a matter of keeping your head up, keeping your head down. Sorry, because Almighty isn't far at all, and that's Panicoid who loses the back end or gets hit off by either one. I do not see. As Polar Haze will be able to see maybe a position change. I don't know. But Pixel going on a move on David gets the move done, and Luca on Eugenio, but Eugenio manages to defend. Or Luca go for a send. It lags a bit. DS there getting a 3-second time penalty for I presume corner coming. Going wide. No one's got any time penalty yet. Oh my god, did I really just say that? No, people have gone type of actually 2 people are going side by side. Right after they're still side by side, and actually the DS backs off, cuts the corner, and holds up Almighty. DRS is enabled, so we will see the drivers that are close to each other, well, dispersed a bit more futuristic, and R3 getting time penalty, and Almighty getting a much better run than DS sends one, and actually that's R10 who's spun. Is in the middle, and we have another safety car. Yay. So it seems like safety cars after that patch is really upped their game with safety cars, I guess you could say. So I'd say safety car will go in towards the end of lap 10. Vessel going in the pits there. I presume he could go on the hard compound and go to the end. Is he going on intermediates? Why are you wearing green tires? Why is this game so broke? Why is he on intermediates? Why is he on intermediates? Why is Vessel on intermediate compound? Did he pick the wrong did he switch a little too far? Vessel. Oh no. Yeah, I presume he wanted to switch compound mid pit stop, but switched a little too much, and onto the intermediates he goes. That is definitely, oh, and he loses the back end completely. That is something you don't see every day. A man being put on intermediates, and he goes in front of us so very dangerously. Oh no. This is something else. I don't know exactly why Vessel went on the wets, but there he goes back on the soft, so he'll definitely go and box one more time on the soft compound tires again. He'll probably go soft. So safety cars in this lap already. So Yasin will be backing up the field after overtaking Earthful. He'll do the same thing Earthful did. And there Yasin goes. He's already gone. Now we'll head further back. We'll see if there are any spins. Oh no, there's going to be a too wide here going into turn one. This is never going to work. I did not see exactly what just happened there. It's raining. It's raining here in Germany. We're going to have a wet ending to this race. Oh no. Now I know why he put on the intermediates. He must have set his strategy or something. But it's starting to rain hard already. So I don't know if they'll want to already box his lap for the intermediates or next lap. I don't know. Very confusing race, I'm not going to lie. So they're not going to box in this lap yet, it's just for the intermediates. race gets a 30-second time penalty. And people are going in the pits for the intermediate compounds. So it seems like even now the inters are needed. Oh yes, and almost losing the back end. Do we see some water splashes? No, and actually we see Futuristic going wide, heading into turn 5. I already forgot the corner. But it seems like everyone is pretty slow, and the people on the inters are going pretty quickly. So they will lose a lot of time as R3 goes wide. So people who went on the inters seem to be much quicker and will have a hard chance of gaining the lead back, I'd say. DS losing the back end there, massively holding up Pixel, and Almighty going around the outside. They touch Martin, they touch, and he says what polarize, and he spins. Can you imagine to get in front? But everyone who's on the intermediate conditions is already behind all of them, so I'd say Fox will get into the lead of this race. But what a turn of events this is be as he deja vu. Actually, no, I forgot how short the pit lane is here, but Fox, I'd say, will overtake quite a few people here. Just got to keep it nice. Oh, that's gonna be a warning. Fox puts himself into P7 already. Actually, Panicoy, who has not boxed, is staying out on these softs. Very confusing stuff here. Actually, that's David there. Who's there, and Vessel as well. No traction at all. They touch tires heading into this straight. Please don't crash. The DS will go for Big Boy Sand. There's going to be almost a 3 wide, and that's Vessel who collects the back of whoever that was. I forgot who it was. It was Almighty. Almighty. They both touch tires. That is a VSC out. Vessel completely helpless there. He was a passenger in his own car, who essentially got annihilated there by the Mercedes that will go to the stewards afterwards. So this is some very interesting stuff. VSC over. We're going racing. So this is a very interesting race, not going to lie. We locks up there, his rears completely locked up there in the inaudible. Yes, and actually seems to be very good on these intermediate conditions. Seems to be flying. He's already 1.2 seconds in front of second place. So turn 1 in the wets isn't really the best. It's already pretty difficult on the dry conditions. I wonder how it will be on wets. I've never actually done a Germany on the wets other than time trial, but I know it is pretty lethal in turn 1. Will Ruthful go for a big boy set here, heading into turn 4? No, but he locks up. Ooh, he's actually getting the rev glitch. I don't want to stay on him for too long. Sorry there, Ruthful. So heading in the back, actually, there's two drivers getting really close, and actually, by really close I mean they touch. There's a Red Bull, and there's a lot of mayhem going on. Ooh, actually, Ruthful and GC Fungus. This seems to be very yeah, let's not do that. Let's just go on. Let's just go on Cheesy Fungus. Look on his mirrors. Oh, Ruthful will get the better. They'll go side by side heading into the Mercedes Grandstand. That never goes well. But they seem to be doing it with GC Fungus giving him space, but Ruthful not. Oh. So Ruthful getting the move done. I wouldn't say in the cleanest of ways, but you know, a move is a move. And there's a yellow flag, and that's David, who's spun. He's done a Charles Leclerc, but instead of DNFing, he continues. So heading, ooh, and actually we see some action there. We see Luca on Eugenio. Will Luca go for the big send? He does. Oh no, he does not, actually, sorry. Eugenio breaks later, but due to breaking later, he goes out a bit wide. They're really side by side there. As you can see, the standings judging, I can't speak, you're trying to judge who's where, and they both break equally late. But it's very difficult to choose. Luca does have the inside line, and Eugenio respectfully gives a lot of space, but they are still side by side. And that's Luca who's up ahead in this battle, from what it seems. Eugenio losing the back end there. So the battle for the points is always pretty interesting. There seems to be a big gap here in between P3 and P2, but I'd say Ruthful will want to close that as soon as possible with just under 20 laps to go. In the back end quite a bit. The inaudible gamer locks up once again. Ooh, the inaudible gamer going pretty wide, and is still catching up to Yasun, losing the back end there. But Ruthful, thanks to it, is able to catch up, as we can see, slowly gaining on these two. Yasin actually going very slowly now. I don't know if he has an issue or anything, or he's just not managing on these wet conditions. But what's good about wet conditions is that you can use as much ERS as you can, because since you're going really slowly, you're able to recharge quite a bit through each corner. As you can see, he's already at 100% when he was just at like a 90-ish%. Well, it's like that even in the dry peak. So, will we see Yasin fall in the clinches of the inaudible gamer? He defends, but goes back to the racing line. Won't be able to get him just yet, but Ruthful now, under 2 seconds, will be able to catch up. Ooh, the inaudible gamer going wide. He doesn't spin at all though, but Ruthful is able to see these two and is within touching distance, I'd say. He's 1.4 seconds behind. Heading in to that point, actually there's a yellow flag. That's Panikoi who spun and who's spun it back. Head back to the front now. Seems to be where all the action is at the moment. So on lap 20 here, 14 laps to go without a crash. So it's a plus. I don't want to jinx it. Watch me crash now. So without DRS, the Honorable Gamer is really forcing the Honorable Gamer to make a mistake or to be slow, and that's really all he can do now. Yes, and goes in deep, goes in very deep, but the Honorable Gamer loses the back end once again. Futuristic getting a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, I'd say. David actually getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he retires from the session. So I presume he didn't really care whether or not he got that 5-second time penalty, but we see Panakoi once again losing the back end. Will that be a VSC? He doesn't seem to be moving. Panakoi retiring from the session. So 15 racers left. David actually coming out there from the pit lane to stop again, so it's good on AI movement. Seems to be a bit of action here going out the back. 3 people wanting to battle for P6, but they do seem really close. They almost touch rear to front. The Honorable Gamer, I feel like he might be pushing a tiny bit too much, because he is using the back end quite a bit. Yasin will get a penalty. No, you won't, but he will most likely get a warning for that. And Ruthful now is 7/10 under a second to these guys. So good stuff from him. And there might actually be a move here, as we see Luca and Diaz very close to each other. Ooh, Luca going wide. That's no warning though. He did slow down a bit. Back to the front, nothing different here. Oh, and he locks up and he sends one down the inside. They touch tires, but he didn't get any damage, and Yasin didn't really get affected by that too much, so I guess it worked out in the end. So Luke is getting a 3-second time penalty. Oh, he touches the back of Yasin there. Oh, and he loses the back end in the meantime. And Ruthful now is in this mix. So roughly 15 minutes left of this Grand Prix. Who will prevail and who will win? Find out after the break. Yes, getting a 3-second time penalty. But will the Honorable Gamer send one like he did last time? No, he doesn't lock up this time and doesn't send one. But they are all within touching distance. Every single one of them are very much alive and close to each other. But currently right now, it seems like the Honorable Gamer seems to be the one putting the most pressure on Yasin. But since there's no DRS, the only way, as I said, the Honorable Gamer or Ruthful can get in front of Yasin is if Yasin does a mistake, or vice versa. In the wets, it separates the good from the great, as Ayrton Senna always said. Or I think it was him, or it could be the commentator who says that. Anthony Davidson. Could be. I don't know. Have to see, but I do know someone says the wets separate the good from the great, because no DRS assistance. It's pure driving skill. Ooh, the Honorable Gamer is going to go wide and gets a 3-second time penalty for that. So penalty-wise, I don't know exactly what the situation is, but I do know there's a lot. Actually, going to the back here, we have these three who are also very much close to each other. There's actually these people. There's actually the Inaudible Gamer under pressure by the inaudible gamer, under pressure by Ruthful. He touched tires with Ruthful. It seems like Ruthful gets the move done. Yes, he does. So now Ruthful will want to kind of move onto Yasin. Meanwhile, there's a move on Futuristic. Fox overtakes Futuristic. And there's another battle here for P6. Ooh, and that's actually Fox who goes wide, and Luca will be able to overtake him as well as he goes through, and Fox loses the back end. So that's Fox out of the points, and by some margin as well. So very unfortunate from him. There's actually racers on the hard compound tires, from what it seems. Could just be a visual glitch. I hope it's a visual glitch, otherwise he's a monster on those. Heading towards the back, it seems like the inaudible gamer is losing touch with these two, but Ruthful seems to be on the back of Yasin. Will he send one heading into turn 4? No, it's too far. But will the inaudible gamer send one? No, it's too far. Heading into the back here, Polar Haze gets overtaken, or actually Fox goes into the pits for another set of intermediates. Say the other ones are pretty cooked. Luca might go for a move on Futuristic, knowing him, he might. He doesn't though, but he buys the dummy Futuristic. Would have given him space if he did go for the move. He's on the back though, he's got a much better run. He's compromised by a Futuristic's blocking and under braking. Futuristic pushes Luca wide. That was definitely under braking movement there, so Luca forced to back away from that. It's unfortunate for him. Heading back to the front now, it seems like Yasin has some breathing space in between. Ruthful, who I don't know time penalties. Oh, and that's actually Almighty, who's retired from the session. He spun the person on the hards. So he must have crashed out, so that could be a VSC or a potential safety car. Have to see what goes on. Sorry if I'm not talking too much. It's with all the restarts, I need to change a few things on my computer. His OBS seems to be killing me, and so is my CPU, but seems to be working just great now. So it seems like these two are the closest. Actually, there's a move on the back. We have Pixel going for a move on Vessel, but Vessel will get a monstrous of switchback there, and will get a much better run as well. But Pixel with Slipstream, will he be able to get him heading into this corner? No. Ooh, he touches the back end of Vessel, and Vessel is forced to correct himself. Pixel will be a good boy and let him by. It costs Fox as well. The Vessel screws himself over, and Pixel says, well, I let you by, and you know, you screwed up. I didn't force that, so that's on you, mate. And we have another move here, Luca on Futuristic. These two have been close to each other for a little while now, and Luca loses the back end. Luca should be able to get the move on Futuristic, who brakes later than him, forced to go wide, but will get the switch back that Luca kind of closes off. He is turning right into him. Will he turn into him? Oh, Jesus, Futuristic. If that's not a corner cut, I don't know what is. But Ruthful on 2/10 behind Yasin, very close, and the Audible Gamer seems to have lost touch to this battle. So it's really in between the top two now. to see who exactly will win this race on track. Because penalty-wise, it could change everything. So on to lap 27. 7 more laps to go. 8 actually, if you count this one. Sorry. Have to see exactly what goes on, but it seems as if Yasin will lose because I saw him get a time penalty towards the beginning of the race. But first of all, I did not pay attention to him. Or not that I didn't pay attention to him, but I did not see him getting any time penalties at the bottom. We will move further back on the grid. So we know that these two are first and second. The Inaudible Gamer in third, GC Funks in fourth, R3 in fifth, Maple in sixth, Luca in seventh, Futuristic in eighth, Ingenio in ninth, DS in 10th, Blaze in 11th, Vessel in 12th, Pixel in P13, and Fox in P14. As he might pick up a little warning there. So really, no one's really close to each other other than Ingenio, Futuristic, and Ruthful and Yasin. They seem to be Ruthful seems to be really seems to close the gap more in sectors 2 and 3. In sector 1, it seems like the Ferrari manages to pull away, either because he has a low downforce setup or he's just quicker. Look, already in turn 1, Yasin's pulling away, and there's a yellow flag, and that's Pixel, who's lost the back end, or has actually sent one into the wall. He's in the wall. So that's a bit of his front wing gone. So very unfortunate for him. He will be lapped by these two. Which are 5/10 away, so yeah, I'm telling you, they don't manage too much. But now the other battle, Pixel actually gets a 3-second time penalty. We're going off white there, so I'd say Pixel will go into the pits and retire. Actually spins once again. He's using the back end in all sorts of different places here. So it's very unfortunate for him. I'll say he'll go into the pits and retire as soon as he possibly can. He does let the leaders by. But the Inaudible Gamer managed to catch up a bit. He was 1.5 tenths last lap. He's now 1.333. Oh, there's been an air spin, and that's DS, who's spun. Yeah, he spun. That's as much as I can say. Polar Haze overtaking Diaz. And up the front once again for the penultimate lap before the 30th lap. I don't know why I said that, but I did. Pixel, as I said, retires from the session. DS was really close there in the back. But seems like Ruthful got a better run than Yasin by the looks of things. Ooh, there's been a spin. It's Luca who's spun into turn 1. He's taking the lives of his teammate, but it hasn't taken the lives of him yet. Not that I wish it upon him, so I'm not emphasizing the point yet. So in this session. So we started with 20 people, and right now, if things stand, we'll finish with 13. So a big difference. Once again, Yasin being put under pressure by a Ruthful in Sector 3. But it's not really an overtaking spot here in Sector 3, especially in the wet. West only getting a 3-second time penalty. Here we are, 5 more laps to go. And speaking of Force India, Racing Point, sorry. Oh my god, Racing Point. The other Racing Point is really close on Futuristic as well. Seems to be putting a lot of pressure. It doesn't seem like Ruthful will be able to get him straight. If anything, he's losing touch with him. yellow flag, and that's Vessel, who was spun. So, once again, Ruth all over the back here, entering sector 3 of Yasin. Let's actually put it into the pit. Comes out with a fresh set. Ruth will actually closer than ever on this straight. Will he go for a send heading into this corner? Yasin places his car in the middle of the track to defend. Will cost him his exit. Three more laps to go. How will this race end? There's another spin, and that's Fox. I don't know why he did that voice, but he did spin. And those are his rear tires cooked, I'd say. Revving it cuts the corner. Fox isn't having the best of races. Actually, Polar Haze is in a battle for the points now. He gets the move on DS done, but DS sticks it around the outside, and like a boomerang, goes around the outside and gets a massive launch. You see Polar Haze going for another move. Ruthful gets a 3-second time penalty. So, are they even on penalties? I don't know, but we'll have to find out towards the end of the race. There are 2 more laps to go. So it looks like these two will be battling towards the end of the race. But meanwhile, these two, Ruthful, now that he has a 3-second time penalty, will want to get in front. Whoa! There's actually Yasin ghosting. So Ruthful, okay, he doesn't ghost anymore. I don't know if he will still be ghosted, but he sends one down the inside, and Yasin goes wide. Will he come back to tap Ruthful? No, they're sliding all over the place as he pushes Ruthful wide. But I keep moving cameras. But Ruthful gets the move done on lap 32. So now Ruthful, if Yasin does not have a 3-second time penalty, will need to extend the gap to 3 seconds. And he does seem to be quicker in sector 3, so he will be able to get the gap quite large. Yasin might feel, you know, demotivated, and psychologically, Yasin will be slower because he sees he's already gaining, and he'll be like, oh no, I can't do this. Put on pressure, cuts the corner, so that'll be another warning if he already didn't have one. So he needs to be careful. This is the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. As things stand, Ruthful, Yasin, and the Inaudible Gamer will round up the top 3. I don't see GC Fungus catching up to the Inaudible Gamer anytime soon, unless if the Inaudible Gamer does spin. But Ruthful under pressure. Yasin does not brake later, but he does lock up. Ruthful being very protective on his line. He needs to keep it. Actually, his teammate Ingenio tries to get the move done on Futuristic, but the switchback of Futuristic will get the better of him, heading back towards the front now. So the Inaudible Gamer, it's a shame for him because he was in P2, and as soon as Yasin or Ruthful got in front of him, that's when it all went down. Actually, the move here on Ingenio on Futuristic. Oh, jeez, and Futuristic tries to get the switchback of Dreams, but instead he punts the back of him. So that's Ingenio into P7, I'd say, and that's probably him where he'll finish at the end of this race. Right now, heading on to the final lap of this German Grand Prix. We've seen a lot of stuff happening here, such as crashes, safety cars, VSCs, spins, complete takeouts, such as completely bashing into Cosman after he spins in qualifying, destroys his race, And, well, he doesn't destroy his race by spinning into turn 1, but he does cost the race of another man and does retire afterwards because of damage and sees no reason of continuing, which is fair. Playing on the last lap, yes, and it's now or never. Will he go for a big send here heading into turn 5? No. He knows that he needs to get him next corner. Otherwise, it's a done deal because he knows he's quicker or slower in Sector 3 compared to Ruthful. So, it is really now or never. Everything is on the line. Will he go for a big spin? No. There's actually been an accident there at the back in between two drivers. DS, I presume, spun out Polar Haze and has let him by, but going back to the front, Ruthful on his way now to cross the finish line, heading into Sector 3 now. These very tight turns, very technical turns, passing the Mercedes grandstands, heading towards the penultimate corner of this Grand Prix. Now, I don't know penalties, so I don't want to celebrate too much, but Ruthful crosses the line to take P1 in this German Grand Prix, and Yasin did not have a time penalty and managed to get in front after all. So that's Yasin, who is the winner of this Grand Prix, followed by Ruthful, who got a 3-second time penalty, the Inaudible Gamer to round up the podium. And now, towards the end, we have GC Fungus, who finishes at P4. He, very quiet race from him, but he managed to get it done in the end. R3 into P5. Once again, very calm race, but he made it to the end. Maple as well. We saw him battling with the Geo Futuristic, but them battles allowed Maple to gain some time. So Futuristic finishing actually in front of Ingenio, because Ingenio had penalties, so it didn't really matter too much in the end if he overtook or not. Luca, it was a shame he spun there here a few laps ago and also towards the back end, but he finishes P9, and Polar Haze will round up the points finish unless if he has a lot of time penalties that will allow DS to get in front. So as he finishes on track, Polar Haze in P10, DS is in P11, not by much, by 9/10, and Fox, or Vessel, DNFs on the line, and Fox finishes in P12. So that's all we have for the end of this Grand Prix. Oh, Fox is a lap down. But he's left the session. So that's it for the German Grand Prix. Sorry for all the technical issues we had at the beginning of the race. It was a fun race nonetheless, as we see here. Ingenio first representing Germany, and Ruthful representing Sweden, and then the McLaren driver of the Inaudible Gamer representing a country which I did not get to see in time. Representing England. So that's all we have. Not England, sorry, UK. I'm sorry if I'm getting my flags wrong. Okay, I'm just gonna shut up now. Because I know England have their own flag, so yeah, it's the United Kingdom. Anyways, so as we already said, the ending lines, but those who did not make it to the end were Wow, Cosmin, R10, Panicoid, David, and Almighty. So thank you all for joining in to this race. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you all in next week's race. Goodbye.